What is up, YouTube? So today I'm gonna be making a video talking about how to play your hero conceptually correctly and be talking about why this is important. So what I mean is that every hero in Dota has its job, like your role. So you're a position 5 Winter Wyvern, and your job is to do support things, right? Play your safe lane, you secure farm for your core, maybe you pull, and then you use all your spells like in the game of Dota, right? Like you're gonna play the game of Dota as your role. But at like a very high level, every hero has a lot of different strengths and weaknesses that if you're not utilizing correctly, just result in a lot of suboptimal play. And this is a lot of what happens in like lower brackets where people don't really understand the hero they're playing, and so they play their role correctly but they don't really play their hero correctly, and it just leads to like suboptimal play in general and makes it harder to win. So for me, I recently just hit 7k MMR. I don't think I'm a 7k MMR player on a lot of different heroes. I reached 7k MMR specifically by I stopped queuing for offlane and for carry. I never queue mid. I'm not good at mid, and I don't play a huge variety of heroes like on support. I play a decent number of heroes, but I don't play like every hero, right? Like I'm not a 7k IO player because I don't play IO. And the reason I'm not like a 7k like IO player or like Chen player versus like a Winter Wyvern or a Bane or something, like my best heroes, are because I don't conceptually understand like everything you can do with those heroes at a high level, and like that's kind of what you need to do to like play at a high level. And so any knowledge you have of any hero in Dota is just accumulated over time, through all your experience playing, and maybe you've watched like guides on the heroes and like listen to other high MMR players talk to them. Like that's kind of how I've developed my high level knowledge of the heroes that I have this high level knowledge on, and that's why I can play them to their maximum potential. So I'm going to talk about how I do that specifically with Winter Wyvern and what that looks like. Hopefully just discussing it in depth with one hero can give you an idea of like how much there is to know about like any other hero in Dota, and can, hopefully encourage you to learn more about whatever your favorite heroes are and really make sure you're playing them like correctly. Because like I'll see things like, I was in a game a couple days ago, we had a Winter Wyvern on our team that wasn't me, and the guy, I could tell, didn't really understand how to play the hero just because of how he was playing the game. As Winter Wyvern, for example, you really want to like stay in your own safe lane a long time and just de-push the tower. Kind of like a Treant, like him and Treant are like two of the classic support pause 5s who really just want to chill in their lane. The carry goes to jungle and you just chill and hang out. So when I see like my Winter Wyvern show up mid and nobody's defending bottom and we're losing bottom for free, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're not doing your job as a Winter Wyvern player. And you might think like, I'm a support player, I want to support hero, and I want to like go rotate and help my team, but like that's not what Winter Wyvern as a hero does well. If you do what your hero does well, you will have way more success in your games. So I'm just going to jump in kind of talking at this point. If you've noticed, I was kind of talking over the first couple minutes of this game. We did not have a particularly good start. I died a couple times. I screwed up polling a bunch of times. I didn't play this lane particularly well. You can see that TA is not doing particularly great compared to DK, and we just like fed some kills. So what am I doing now? TA's jungled, and I am just gonna sit bottom, hide at the trees, and use your W. And you're like, okay, sure, duh, but like, it's very important that I do this as long as possible, literally until I need to go TP to like a team fight somewhere else and like curse or something. And this is like, it opens up moves like this for your team, where they can just show up and kill if there's only like one guy pressuring, right? It's the same with like a Treant. If you're a Treant and there's only one guy trying to push your tower, it kind of just sets up to kill that one guy. And from the other team's perspective, just like when you play against a Treant, you can't really take the Treant's tower with like one or two heroes. You really have to show up with a lot of heroes, kill the Treant, or in this case a Winter Wyvern, and that's how you like take that tower. Winter Wyvern's a lot of the same way. So you noticed I focused a lot on defending bottom, and now that there's nobody there anymore, I have the ability to leave and go defend a different tower. Even if I didn't have Curse, I could still do this. I'm not looking to do a big fight here. I'm just looking to kind of help defend this tower, and we still lose it anyways. So the team fight, you know, kind of goes okay. We show up with multiple heroes, all 5 of our heroes actually, and it goes pretty well for us, even though we lose the tower. And so what do I do here? I go back to my first job, my main primary job. As long as your safe lane tower as Wyvern is alive, what you should be doing is trying to defend it if they're going to put pressure on it. So I see Ember TP down here, and I'm not feeling too afraid of this Ember for whatever reason. I don't really remember why in the game. I think I just didn't think he was playing that well and wasn't going to... I just had this feeling it wasn't going to go on me. So I'm just here defending this tower from this catapult. And they did not bring, like, DK here again. They didn't bring, like, other pushing heroes. Like, I don't know what their DK is doing, but they just totally missed out on their 10-minute catapult timing, which at like a 7k MMR game is like kind of a big deal. And here they like kind of make this mistake of trying to fight in our jungle before they've taken the tier 1 tower, and this just makes it so easy for us to like kind of collapse and connect on them. And it's why you shouldn't make plays in this area as like dire until after you've taken the Radiant Tower. It'd be like us trying to take a play like right here, right now, when we haven't taken their tier 1 tower yet, you know? It's just not really how you want to play. So we punish this mistake, and I'm happy to show up to fights, like if I don't need to be defending my tower, right? Like if they're not pushing my tower, I can go do whatever I want. My job is to defend the tower, and if they're not pushing the tower, then I can go do something else. But it's always with this like keeping in mind that I will defend the tower if that's what needs to be done for the team, and it's like my hero's job in our game to defend the tower. So here I TP top because it's an open lane. I didn't really want to do this because now if they push bottom, I cannot really be there. I'd have to walk all the way back. The other reason this is bad is with me coming here, it like can make it less likely for like your teammates to want to go there, if you know what I mean. Like if you think you only need one hero to come top and then you do it instead of somebody else on your team, then that other person on your team who maybe should have done it instead of you then won't do it, and then they can be left in a bad spot. What's going to happen here is my Snap did die bottom, but then he's going to respawn. It's not really about his death, but he's going to respawn. He's going to see what's going on top and not want to participate, plus they're pushing bottom. And so my Snap's going to TP bottom here. And I don't really blame him for doing this, but he shouldn't really be doing this. Like, he's doing my job, which is just going to result in like kind of suboptimal play from both of us. And it is a result of me TPing top. And I did it to like get that lane that was there. It was an open lane, and I like defending our towers against no creeps or against no heroes and just getting free creeps. But you could argue it was a bad TP just because it kind of ends up in this situation down here. And if you just imagine the exact same map, but me and Snapfire's positions are switched, it feels a lot better for our team. Like if I'm defending bottom and my Snap is like pushing top aggressively ready to fight, like that play is a lot better than what's happening here. So hopefully that kind of demonstrates the importance of like why it's better for like heroes to be like, it would have been better for me to be doing my job, and that requires a high level understanding of what your job is in the first place. Like I think a lot of low MMR players would kind of do what I did here, and they would never realize that like why it's bad. It's bad because Snap ended up going bottom is why my TP top ended up being bad. And it's not like a flame on this Snapfire. And if the Snapfire was here, maybe this fight goes differently for our team. Like I cursed, I don't provide a lot at this phase in the game to like team fights. Me plus one other hero is not like a huge threat. If the Snap had been here, it could have been totally different. This guy casting both of these spells in his ultimate could have been totally different fight. And, you know, instead I die, Void Spirit dies as well. I did get the tower, which is just not what I should have been trying to do anyways. And like the Snap is just down there, like not doing anything. I think the Snap could have like, even though he made this TP bottom, he was here for a little while. I feel like he could have walked back to the other side of the map sooner than he did, but like it's whatever, right? Like if I just hadn't TP top in the first place, the Snap wouldn't have gone bottom in the first place. So you can see here, I respawn. They just had a bunch of heroes top, and our bottom tower is still alive. I don't know what their DK is doing this game. They have a DK offlane who hasn't taken our tower at 15 minutes, but because it's still alive, I'm like, great. I would love to just keep doing my original job of defending this tower, even at 15 minutes into like a 7k game, right? Like, yes, the laning phase is over. Yes, I'm level 9. We could do something else. But I don't have Curse, and I know they have a bunch of heroes top. I'm not looking to, like, fight this Morphling. He, like, kind of goes on me here. I don't really know what he's doing. I'm not this... He, like... I was a little scared, and then I was like, nah, he's, like, out of stuff. So I'm just still just defending this tower. And maybe he could have gone on me again here if he had, like, returned into me. I don't know what his cooldowns are. But see, they have another catapult, and they, like, still don't get this tower. Which is kind of ridiculous, right? And so this is just because I recognize that I had a moment to, like, just chill without my ults and come bottom. And when do you leave when you're this hero doing this, the Treant or the Wyvern? You leave when you know that they've brought a bunch of heroes to die. So it's really nice to like have a ward. I put this here just because I didn't want to walk out further. But it's really important to like realize like, oh, they're bringing a bunch of heroes. Now I should leave. Here, I make this classic mistake. I mess this up a lot, actually. This is like a flaw of mine, is I'm too like impatient, and what the enemies do is they just wait for me to show, and then they go on me like this. Like, if I had just sat behind my tower, they couldn't have done that, and I just get too greedy when I don't see them. So that's a mistake of mine that I think if I could, like, fix, I wouldn't, like, have deaths like this. And what I did, still being down here in the first place, still bought our team a bunch of time. Like, my TA is just massive now. You can see on the net worth. And it's just because I was just defending this tower when I needed to that it's created all this space. They just don't have a lot of map to work with. The other thing that we can talk about in terms of really understanding your hero and playing at a very high level is making sure you really understand the best usage of all your abilities. And this is like very advanced, right? Like a lot of abilities can be used in many different contexts and situations. Winter Wyvern's a very hard example. Like her E can be a grief and her curse can be a grief if used incorrectly. And so it's just important to have a good high level understanding of these and like how do you develop it? It's like practice, learning. So hopefully I can walk you through her abilities right now and just give you an idea of what you should be looking for. The Q is just really important to keep far away. Like it helps you keep far away, I mean, and then you want to hit every hero once because the percent based health burn only applies once per usage. Like even if you keep hitting the same hero, the burn doesn't keep restacking. If you get Ags, it does, but like a support without Ags, you only need to hit each hero once to get the full burn effect. So hitting every hero you can once with your Arctic burn, super important. Splinter Blast is pretty simple, right? Hopefully I don't need to explain that too much. Ideally, use it on like a creep to hit multiple heroes. Otherwise, you know, you want to hit probably the tankier hero with it. Like target the tankier hero so that it hits the squishy people around him for the most damage. Cold Embrace, if you're not sure, it's probably not good to use it. Like if you think your core that you're going to be using this on is going to want to do something, probably just hold it. If you're really desperate, you can try and throw it out. It's really good like to use right after a disable. Like if they DK stun somebody and they're going to be stunned for 3 seconds anyways, like yeah, throw out the Cold Embrace. Like the duration is going to overlap with the stun duration for the most part. So it's not going to hurt them quite as bad and will help them negate some of the damage that they'll be taking while they're stunned. Otherwise, it's just really good to use like after fights or more on the outskirts of heroes that aren't in danger. And then Curse, it's really, I feel like it's really easy to describe how it's good to use, like where it's good to use. Like I used it on that Venge. I used it on a low HP squishy hero while she was surrounded by 3 other heroes. Like, duh, right? But in other situations, I mean, it's a TP cancel, it's a BKB, it's like a goes through BKB lockdown ability. It can just set up to like wait for your team to get there if you just catch somebody alone. It kind of just takes a really good understanding of like what your team needs out of it, which just comes a lot from experience. So I'll just try and talk about the different usages that I do in this game, and hopefully that will give you, and if I can like tell you what I'm thinking, like maybe sometimes it'll be obvious, but in some cases maybe it won't be. If I can tell you what I'm thinking, maybe that will help you like in making your own decisions. So you can see they finally get our tier 1 tower in 19 minutes, and I think just me doing my job is a big part of why they didn't get that tower earlier. If I had just been running around with my team and ignoring this tower, which is what most supports would do, right? Like most position 5s wouldn't stay down here and defend this tower. Like if you're a Witch Doctor, if you're a Warlock, if you're, you know, an Undying, you're just not going to be doing what I was doing, and it would be correct for you to not be doing that. Like, those types of heroes should not be sitting bottom trying to defend their tower alone. But because I was doing my hero's job and, like, what nobody else on our team wanted to be doing, this tower lived so long, even though they have a DK. And now that that tower is dead, that job that I had of keeping it alive is now just over, like, for the rest of the game. Wyvern is a decent wave pusher in terms of, like, he can push out the dead lane if he needs to, but, like, you don't really sit and defend this tier 2 the same way that you do the tier 1. It's just a completely different dynamic, because by the time they're taking this tier 2, it's way later in the game, it's way easier for them to jump you, and that tower is just less defensible in the first place, I think, with, like, a little bit less tree cover to hide behind, so it's totally different. I'll talk about items very quickly as well, because to me, items are super hard to get right. I'm definitely not perfect to itemizing, but I think I'm generally, like, good enough at it. And it really comes down to, like I think itemizing is just applying all your Dota knowledge of all these games you played before into this specific game that you're in now, and, like, thinking, okay, based on what I know before, like, what items would be good now, right? If you're really new, you can follow a cookie cutter build. You don't have to, like, overthink it. But if you're, you know, ancient, divine, if you want to push immortal, like, you really have to, like, think hard about, like, what items do you need to, like, do your job, get your spells off. This is from a sport perspective. Like, you know, do you need to help the team? Do you need to enable yourself? Like, what do you need to do? This game, Glimmer seemed really good to me, because if I combine it, like a Glimmer with Cold Embrace, it really reduces their damage. I also know, as a Winter Wyvern player, it's very good against Morphling specifically, because Morphling, like, kind of blows you up. Like, Wyvern just takes so much damage from Morphling's adaptive strike. I've found that to be my experience. Like, he waveforms on you and adaptive strikes and hits you, like, once and you're dead. Glimmer goes a long way towards stopping that from happening. Morphling does not like... He's like... It's not like Morphling can't carry dust, but, like, if you have a Glimmer, it's... And plus your Q, right? You Q... You Glimmer yourself and you, like, run away. It's very hard for, like, Morphling players to, like, follow up if they've already used their, like, Q. His Glimmer is really targeted kind of at this Morphling, and also at, like, saving whoever they initiate on with, like, this DK stun. Like I said, like, Glimmer plus Cold Embrace, whoever gets DK stunned, that person does not really die. Like, they really just do not have the burst damage to chew through a Glimmer-caped healing target. So that was my thought process on the Glimmer here. Arcane Boots are just really good on this hero in general. I almost always buy them. Sometimes I'll get a Bassi, and then you can kind of delay the Arcane Boots if you want to rush something more like a Glimmer or a Blink. But yeah, the Arcane Boots are just really nice to have in almost all games. This hero does use a lot of mana, and the more mana you have, the more you can spam out waves with your W. So here again, I'm just trying to hit every hero once with my Q. I think I get another really sick Glimmer save on this TA here. Like, he almost dies, and then I Glimmer him at the last second. And you can see the Morphling, it's like... Morphling hates when people go invis from him, I don't know what else to say. So I think that Glimmer ended up being a sick pickup and really prevented that fight from going disastrously and us losing our TA. It saved me once, and it saved the TA once. I mean, what more value can you want? Any other item I would have had here would not have done that. Like, Force Staff, I don't think saves in that situation. So here, I want to talk about my positioning around this Roshan that we're about to take. My team walked into Roshan here. And so when you're taking Roshan as a support, your positioning is super important. Because if you just die to start, like, a Rosh fight, and then your team's taking, like, a 4v5 without you, and, like, usually, like, the team taking the Roshan is a little bit of as a disadvantage, because they've kind of got two things going on at once, and they have to, like, you know, make sure they're still trying to kill the Roshan, and it gets really complicated for them. So your positioning as a support is really important. So here, what happens here is I aggressively deward, and we kind of just took the tower and we knew they weren't right in the area. And then what happens is I moved, as Roshan is, like, dying, I moved to a more defensive area. So, like, back when I was aggressively dewarding and getting our own vision down, Roshan was at higher HP, it wasn't close to dying. So if they had, like, contested right away, my team could have come to help me, because the Roshan's not close to dying. As the Roshan gets close to dying, if I'm over here doing what I was doing before while the Roshan's almost dying, no one's coming to help me if they go on me. Because they're going to finish the Roshan instead. And then they could take an advantageous fight anyways after if I, like, die. So if, as the Roshan's low, you want to really be far away and look to, like, make sure you don't die to start any fight that could possibly happen. So you can see my positioning changed, like, literally just based on, like, the timing of, like, how close Roshan was to being dead. The support, I think that's really important. I mean, as any, like, backline support, right? Like, it's part of Wyvern. It's not specific to Wyvern, but it's specific to any, like, backline support. So here, this curse, I'll just talk about it because I wanted to talk about my curses. We're just going to talk specifically about the curse usage. And it's just a really, you just have to be really sure that you're not going to, like, grief your team here. So there, I did Glimmer, and I didn't quite get the E off on my Void Spirit, which is unfortunate. Ember gets Cookie stunned, and we get him really low, but the stun duration's about to run out. And on these slippery heroes, it's super good to, like, kill them in one stun duration. So, like, even though, like, you'd think we have the damage almost to kill him, like, it's so easy for Embers to get away. I mean, if you imagine this guy getting away, if he, like, wands, remnants, slights, which I think is all up, and then goes to remnant out of slight and then regens up, like, this fight could go completely terribly. Hopefully you can, like, think of that, like, scenario and be like, oh shit, yeah, this Ember lives. Like, this is not good. So here, the curse is just really good. We have no other disables available. Nothing's coming in. So my curse is the only thing that provides this, like, final lockdown. It still almost doesn't work because of that swap, but, like, I think somehow the curse, like, kept going in the swapped location, and luckily DK was still close enough. Like, if the Venge had been, like, here, the DK would have, like, or, like, just say, like, here or something. Like, still away from us, but, like, away from the DK. He might have even lived. That would have been crazy. But that was that curse usage there, and it was just really important to, like, lock down those, like, really low, or really mobile heroes that have, like, that, like, you need to, like, lock down and kill, otherwise they just get away and, like, can completely reset. And I waited till the fight was, like, kind of almost over, right? I didn't, like, try and, like, because if you use it while all your heroes are alive, usually, like, your team's going to be wanting to cast spells in there. And, like, so if you kind of wait for the fight to, like, dissolve a little bit, it really, like, turns a fight that's not going well, or, you know, just provides an extra bit of lockdown at the end of, like, a chain stun kind of thing. So the next item I go for is Blink. And this is just because I think there are high-value curse targets in this game. Like, not a lot of people are building Lincoln Spheres, and if I get a good curse off, like, to initiate, like a Blink initiate curse, like, a Morphling will blow up his allies, Ember, and, like, a lot of these other heroes, even if Morph's not there, can still die, right? If Weaver's out of position, if Venge is out of position. Also, your Blink can sort of work as, like, a save. Like, you can blink in to Glimmer E an ally if you're, like, not close enough. So it's like, it kind of enables you to get your save off or your curse off. And why is that better than, like, Aether Lens, right? Well, I can be further away from a fight. If they have, like, a DK looking to stun, if they have an Ember looking to jump the backline, a Morph who's happy to jump the backline, a lot of times these Aethers, like, against heroes that really want to, like, jump you is not quite enough. Because Aether, you still have to be, like, close enough. Whereas Blink, you can be pretty far back and control your positioning very well. So Blink, and then it also gives you, like, the more aggressive potential as well. So I do buy Aether a lot of games instead of Blink. If they don't have heroes that are going to be jumping the backline, and I think that I just need a little bit of extra cast range, but otherwise I'm going to be close enough without being at threat, I do really like Aether Lens on this hero. Because Aether Lens is also really nice to, like, throw Splinter Blast from further away defensively. There are a lot of really good uses for that item. But the Blink this game is specifically just because they have a lot of heroes who are going to look to jump me, and I just need to be far enough away to, like, not get jumped. And to find those curses, like I was talking, aggressive curses possibly could be there. Sometimes they just don't turn up, and then you can't use it that way. This is a really high-level support concept. I actually covered this in... I made a recent video where I was Warlock, and I showed you how to play from behind as Warlock, and I did this exact same thing in that game. A lot of times as support, if you're wave-clearing support, like, my team kind of backed out of this area where we have massive vision, which, like, I don't understand, honestly. Like, look at how much vision we have, and my team just Like, somebody needs to, like, push this out, right? But, like, I don't know. 4 heroes? 3 heroes? I don't know. But what I do here is I just linger in the trees, waiting to de-push more waves. It's so important to do this. It just sets up so much. Like, the fact that this wave is not going to get out here, or, like, 2 of the creeps left, maybe 1 or 2 creeps left, or it'll be lower. The fact that this wave is now going to push in when it meets this wave, like, this wave is going to push through this and back into this again, is going to be so annoying for them. And just getting that 1 extra wave can make such a big difference. In my Warlock video, if you go watch that, you can see it made a big difference in that game when we were behind. And so I did TP out there because, like, it was obvious that I was, like, in the area. So, like, Blink, Glimmer, TP can't really kill me or punish me. I was just a little scared of the punishment. I don't TP base, though, right? I just TP to this outpost, which maybe was kind of a grief because, like, if they had been looking for me, my TP would have taken forever. But they don't. And so we'll watch this fight break out, and we'll know any curse usage. So there, that curse usage was a simple attempt at a save. Came out too late. But you can use it as a save if there's only 1 hero doing the damage to your teammates. I was like, oh, maybe I can stop him. And then the Ember actually slided to finish him off. So, yeah, didn't quite get a good usage out of that. But that was the attempt there, right? And here the Glimmer really comes in handy. I mean, you can see this Glimmer. Oh my god. Like, this is the most valued Glimmer I've ever seen in my life. And then you can see the Blink there to get away from the Morphling who's chasing me. So I feel like my items were kind of on point this game. I really felt the impact from them. And, you know, that's kind of what you want, right? But like I said, I think itemizing is very hard. You know, I don't blame people for not itemizing well, because it's just so hard. But you really have to think about, like, what the fights are going to look like, and, you know, what their team's going to be doing, all that stuff. And notice we win a fight, and I just run back to the lane again. I have my Shard coming out, which makes this hero just demolish waves. It's so good. This Shard is so good. You can't really rush it every game, because it's just, like, not... Your hero really utilizes other items well. As you can see, the value I've gotten out of this Blink Glimmer is not the same value I would have gotten out of the Shard, but it is still a really good item to rush. And here you're going to see the Glimmer come in handy again. This Weaver cannot kill me. And then you can, like, Glimmer Blink away. And this guy, I don't know, maybe gets away, but you just see the value that my items were having here. You can see when my teammates are, like, kind of out of the fight. Well, this guy kind of walked back in, but he wasn't, like, actively hitting anybody. Good time to heal him up. If you have the talent, I never get this talent at 10 because I usually have maxed these by, like, 10, and then I'm looking to put more points in this, and the cooldown scales really well on Cold Embrace, and the heal scales as well, so, like, there's no reason to get the talent versus more points in Cold Embrace. It's better to get the points in Cold Embrace first, and then still go back for the talent, because it just adds more heal. I think it's a good talent, it's just not better than actually leveling the ability itself. This heals for so much. It heals for, like, half your hero's HP pool. It's, like, one of the best single target heals in the game because it's percent based. So if you can get this talent, just throw out these heals whenever your team needs them, when they're not, like, actively being gone on, it's so good. Make sure that at this phase you're Eing and Wing waves. Splinter Blast plus a Cold Embrace on an allied creep just completely obliterates creep waves. Look at this. I mean, 2 spells, no right clicks. 1 creep will have some HP left. Like, that's it. It's so good as a support to be able to do this. And you can see what I'm doing again, right? I'm still playing around our vision. I'm still keeping top pushed in. This DK can't go make an aggressive play with his team. And we see this Ember, and this DK's like, we know this DK's pushing top. If we didn't know where DK was, and this lane was, like, out here, this play would be a little more sus. But because we have all this information, this, like, play is just so easy. There, I was thinking about cursing, but I didn't have to because we have the damage. But, like, if our stuns were going to run out and he wasn't dead yet, you know I was going to be cursing there. Just to, like, keep him in place for that extra 2 seconds. As a support Wyvern, you're not going to be doing a lot of damage in curse. Like, very rarely that, like, you're going to finish them off. But yeah, it still just lets that stun duration continue. Maybe somebody else's stun comes up or something. Level 20, the Splinter Blast damage, I think is just too good. creep waves just die for the rest of the game. Look at this heal, by the way. Just completely out heals the DK. I actually glimmered that creep as well, just so it lived. You can see that creep wave just got demolished. You can see how much I'm just like chilling and hitting this area, like kind of staying up here and keeping this pushed in. In the same way that you defend your tier 1 bottom early, you kind of can aggressively keep this top lane shoved in, like from the trees, from far back. And, you know, these items kind of prevent me from dying if they try and jump on me. My items kind of enable this playstyle, and I really love doing this playstyle on any sport I can get away with. I don't think enough people do it. And you can see this. Okay, so they do chase me to the ends of the earth here. But this does make a lot of space for my team, who's going to start taking this Roshan. I actually almost killed their Ember. I'm really sad that I didn't. But I made a ton of space for my team, and they had to commit like 5 heroes. They committed their whole team to try and stop me, which just lets my team take a free Roshan. A free Roshan at this stage in the game is huge. And we weren't ahead by that much net worth. I always queue at the beginning of fights. The cooldown is not that long compared to the duration. Flying duration is 10, the cooldown's 20. It's 18 because I have this quickening charm. But it's normally 20, so the uptime is like 50%. So don't be afraid to just throw it out there. Or just to cast your Q, I mean, instantly. As soon as you have it up at the beginning of every fight. Because it's really important to get that burn damage out, and usually you can cast his ability twice a fight. Yeah, actually, I don't even think there's anything else to say in this game. We just clean it up, and we just end the game off this push. So a lot of this was focused more on the earlier parts of the game, in terms of like doing this hero's job and doing it correctly. But hopefully you can see that me doing my job in the game, defended the tower for a long time, and that one time that I didn't, kind of really didn't end up going well, right? Me going top that one time didn't force, but like it led to my Snapfire going bottom, and it led to like me and my Void Spirit dying top, and my Snapfire like stayed bottom kind of too long, which like he just wouldn't have even been there if I had like not done that TP to the wrong side of the map for like what my hero wants to do. And like I said before, that TP would not have been incorrect on a lot of other heroes, but on Winter Wyvern specifically, if you need to know how to play your heroes at a super high level and do their jobs specific to like what their hero strengths are. And if you play to your hero strengths, like if you take what I talked about in this game and like you pick Winter Wyvern and you go play that way, like good things will happen, I promise you. I think if you play the way that I played as Winter Wyvern in your games, position 5, don't try and overplay, you know, get some defensive items for your team, you know, play with your team once that tier 1 tower is dead, and use kind of the abilities and the way I talked about, that you'll see a lot of success. So hopefully you guys like this video. I might do it with a couple other heroes, but like I said, I'm not like, I don't understand a lot of heroes at a really, really high level, which I couldn't make this same video for a lot of other heroes because I just don't understand them that well. So I might do it for some of the other heroes that I understand at a really high level and like teach you guys to them that way. But yeah, hopefully you got a lot out of this, and see you next time.